Alright guys, you've done everything I've asked of you so far this season, just the final left. Now, we're already in the Champions League for next season, that's the main one to win, but we didn't get every trophy last season because some of you didn't win the Chatham Cup. Now, not all of you, some of you have been very good with that because you weren't here last year, but some of you let me down last season. This is your chance to fully make amends by giving me every trophy I could win this season. We need a winning mentality before we get to the Club World Cup. Let's win this final and make it 5 trophies this season. 5, 5, 5.
Party in the streets and the city's on fire.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 85 of the New Zealand Builder Nation here on Shaun Does FM with both the All Whites and with Cashmere Technical. And coming up today, we're going to finish off 2032 with the National League Championship Grand Final, where we're going to take on Auckland City and also run through stuff like the end of season review and the transfer budget for next season. So looking forward to that coming up in today's episode. Then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But yesterday was supposed to be 2 games with the All Whites against South Korea and Egypt. If you missed the episode, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. We did play South Korea, but Egypt cancelled on us, so instead we showed you guys a game against Western Suburbs. So off the back of that, we have set up a chance here to go through the season with a perfect record, because we backed up that 2-0 win over Western Suburbs with a 6-1 win over Melville United, a 3-0 win away against Wellington Olympic. That did look like our toughest game of those remaining off the back of that Western Suburbs clash, and then we beat Napier City Rovers 4-1, Hamilton Wanderers 3-1, and the same scoreline there over Nelson Suburbs. And in and around that, we also, with the All Whites, just a quick update on that, did play our first game in the Oceania FIFA World Cup qualifying for 2034 and did pick up a very convincing 7-1 win over Fiji. There you can see what happened. A couple of injuries which no doubt didn't help them in the second half over in Suva, but that still was a very impressive victory. Gave a debut there to Louis Gomez off of the bench as well. So we've been doing very well off the back of yesterday's episode, and I'm pretty sure for the first time in this save have got a chance to win every single game that we've played this season here at Cashmere Technical. Let's hope we can get the job done over Auckland City, especially because so far this season we've beaten them pretty comfortably in the games where we have taken them on. Unfortunately, the stat pack only available for league games. We'll go back over the schedule. We took them on before we played the Chatham Cup final. That was a 3-2 win. They did come back at us late in that one. The scoreline, I thought, flattered Auckland City in that game. Did beat them before that in the semis of the Chatham Cup, 5-0, and going back towards the start of the season, OFC Champions League semi-finals, 1-0 win in the first leg, 3-1 away in the second, and as well as that, we actually took on Western Suburbs in the Charity Cup, not Auckland City. So far, we've beaten them 4 times this season and done so pretty comfortably for the most part, hopefully being drawn as the home team, even though this one is up at Sky Stadium, does mean that will be a similar result. And as I said, we can go through the season winning every single game we've played here at Cashmere Technical. And thankfully, no injury concerns either going into this final, which is very nice indeed. A quick look at Auckland City, because it's been a little while since we last took them on camera. Recently, it's been Western Suburbs mostly, but they do still have a team that we've been taking on for the most part this season. Don't think there's been too many changes there up at the RTA, and hopefully we can beat them in this final. A quick look at how the table did finish though in terms of the other teams in the National League Championship, because as you can see, these guys lost to Western Suburbs 5-1, so I was a bit surprised they actually made their way through to the final. That is because that was the only game they lost alongside the one against us. Western Suburbs, they lost to us, and surprisingly, Napier City Rovers, and they also dropped points away at Melville. So that's the reason that we're taking on Auckland City and not Western Suburbs, who based on that performance you would have thought would be in the final over an Auckland City team that they did beat 5-1, just in behind that Napier City Rovers. And to be fair, decent gap back to the likes of the Phoenix Reserves, Melville, Wellington Olympic, Nelson Suburbs did okay their first season in the National League Championship. Tauranga and Hamilton Wanderers were the whipping boys of the National League Championship. But that is how Auckland City have got to this final, just did enough there to finish ahead of Western Suburbs, even though They got spanked by Western Suburbs, but hopefully we can pick up a win here, complete a perfect season, and win another National League title. And here are the team sheets for this 2032 National League Championship Grand Final. With no injuries, we can go with our overall best 11 here these days. At Cashmere Technical, Sam Clark is the DLP, and Kevin Mina at left wing, being the under-20 options. Auckland City are also going with a 4-2-3-1, and let's hope we can finish off a perfect season. And just about to make our way into the last 5 minutes of this first half so far, it's been a very quiet game, and Auckland City, you could argue, have actually been on top, so we're going to demand more. Thankfully, off the back of that, we finally get a highlight in this game and do just keep the ball there down our left-hand side. Janssen plays that forward to Mediolo and forward there to Torek. Now he's done very well since coming in about halfway through the season. Floats that one far post there for Kevin Mina, who's been a goal-scoring machine on that left wing. That is his 30th goal of the season. I'm pretty sure that will break the record for goals in the season here at Cashmere Technical, at least in terms of since we've been here. We got the ball out right there. Pedro Bissi, light touch there to Nah, floats that one far post, and Cox isn't quite big enough to get to that header, which was put away there from Kevin Mina. As I said, his 30th goal of the season. Nice there into that bottom left corner, a bit too hard that one for Cox to get hold of. And we're gonna go into half time here with a 1-0 lead to be for off the back of that goal too. Got one more shot on target, which we didn't see, but relatively happy with that, to be fair. Up until then, the first half was not up to too much. Hopefully we might find a way to kick away in the second half of this one, but that first half was very quiet. But thankfully, going to start the second half with a 1-0 lead. And about 10 minutes into the second half, hopefully a sign here we might get more highlights in this one, because there is a highlight here, and it is a goal kick in our favour. Pedro Bissi is on the ball out right. This is actually his last game in a Cashmere Tech shirt. A few players are departing after this because they got signed by clubs at the end of their contract, and the game didn't tell me that was happening. Otherwise, would have got the contracts in sooner. But we're on the attack here again, looking for Nah far post. Can't quite find him, but that is a wonderful ball back in from Kevin Mina before that goes out again. And it's Mediolo who will pop up with a goal. And there's a cushion goal. 2 highlights and 2 goals for us here at Cashmere Technical, and a sea of empty yellow seats there up at the Cape Tin. We tried to put that one far post. Slaughtermaker heads that one over, but thankfully it's good work from Mina. He picks up an assist to go alongside that goal from late in the first half of Mediolo. Right place, right time to put that one away. 2-0, and shortly off the back of that, there is another highlight. Auckland City probably need a goal back here, try and keep themselves alive here, and try and ruin our perfect season. Rosa cuts inside. Really good effort that one, but thankfully not quite enough curve on it to make its way into the top right corner. Still 2-0 in front at the hour mark. And a few minutes on from where we left things before, we now have a goal kick here to Auckland City. Cox will pump that one deep and hard, but thankfully we can win that one back. Good tackle here on us, but thankfully Evans gets the ball back for us, and now Nah makes his way inside the box. The tackle there from Slaughtermaker, not a penalty because he won that one cleanly, and Rossa is there to tidy things up, plays it back to Cox, but that is a bit of a weak clearance from him, and now the ball finds its way out to Xavier Smith at left back. Mina having a blinder so far in this final will pick up another assist. Lorenzo Janssen will pick up a goal, and that should put this one to bed. 3-0 with only 20 odd minutes left, and I think we're going to have a perfect season here at Cashmere Technical. Just not good work there in terms of that clearance from the Auckland City goalkeeper, who, to be fair, hasn't been much chop when we've played him so far this season. Doesn't look like the greatest option. I think he's part English, which is a bit concerning because that's an import. Not doing too well there for Auckland City, but thankfully it's going to mean that we're going to go through this season with a perfect record, unless we bottle things very hard in these last 20 minutes. But there's a highlight here at the 69-minute mark, and Pedro Bissi makes his way forward down the right, tries to square that one for low. It comes off Piper. It's an own goal, and Auckland City, they are in the mud here. We have been having our way with them pretty much so far this season, and that will be the case come the end of it as well. Good switch out there to our Italian right back, who I believe is off to Sassuolo next season, which is a bit disappointing because he could have actually been an all-whites option in a couple of years' time, but that is an own goal, which should put the game to bed. 4-0 with only 15 minutes left. And just made our way into the last 10 minutes of this game. Still 4-0 in front, and our 3 players have gone down to red hearts. Don't think these players coming on are going to get a rating, but we'll play things safe. Hughes can come on for Pedro Bissi. That will be his last moment here at Cashmere Technical. Same for Texera coming on for Sam Clark. He's off back to Portugal. And Louis Rodriguez, I think, also going to let go of him and we'll take off Kevin Mina, who's been superb so far in this game with 2 assists and a goal. But that was a very convincing win in the National League Grand Final. Auckland City got 6 shots off, so half of what we got off, but none on target, apart from the one into the back of their own net late on Cox and Piper. Having a really poor day there. There is Mendy Cox indeed. He's English. He hasn't been very good when we played against them, so that might be a bit of a waste there for Auckland City of a foreign spot. We don't get a trophy lift for the National League Grand Final, which is a bit disappointing, but that does complete a perfect season as we lift the title off the back of a 4-0 win over Auckland City. And back in the inbox off the back of that very convincing win in the National League Grand Final. You've seen it so far this season. We've been very dominant in most games that we have been playing. That's the reason I got through this season a bit quicker than we have done in the past. And also, next season might take a little bit longer, considering we should be going to the FIFA Club World Cup, and then the one after that, there is the usual FIFA World Cup with the All Whites. But there we go, lifting the title on the final day, because that's how things work here in New Zealand. We get some money for that. Rera is disappointed. Things you love to see. The board are delighted with the club vision progress. We extend our gap over City as the team who have won the National League the most times now, with that making it 4 seasons in a row. The board are pleased with us, and we go forward a bit more and get a little bit more money, but that is a very good season. Just confirming it was perfect. We did not lose or draw a single game, even going back to the group stages of the Champions League, which doesn't count, but we walked our way through that animal group right at the start of 2032. We did not draw or lose a single game and win all the trophies. And we've gone for a few clicks off the back of that National League Grand Final Championship win, and we do have the transfer budgets for next season. Obviously, the club's not in too good a state financially, albeit it has improved. I'll show that shortly. £34,000 a week that we can spend on players. I think that's the same as what we had previously, so that's not been touched. The transfer budget does get a slight boost of £25,000. Don't expect us to spend too much money on players. I think yet again going to be signing some freebies who do get released from South America and North America, those countries that also finish their seasons come the end of the calendar year. A quick update on the finances. They have improved quite a bit. That's thanks to a couple of top-ups there from the board. So hopefully that might mean next season not going to be too bad in terms of losing money, especially if we can do decently at a Club World Cup. But a little bit of a transfer budget to work with, but got a little bit of room in the wage budget, especially with some of the players who are leaving us currently. 5.7k a week that is available. And a quick look at the players who won't be here next season, because you'll start to see the money that will be available. João Teixeira, David Pedrovici, and also Louis Enrique. They are leaving, as are Louis Rodriguez and Mateus, because they're under 20 players who won't be the case next season, with not a heck of a lot of potential. So we're going to let all those players go. That should free up a decent amount of wage. We definitely can bring in some replacements. Going to need to at right back in particular. But a few players there who've now played their last games in a Cashmere Tech shirt. Hopefully we can still find a way to improve going into 2033 and that FIFA Club World Cup. And going forward a bit more, we do have the end of season review here for 2032 at Cashmere Technical. Again, it's only showing 4 trophies. We did also win the Champions League, but that doesn't show up for some silly reasons. 5 trophies here this season. To be fair, brought in very few players going into this season just to make sure that our dynamics and cohesion was quite good. But Kevin Mina obviously picks up Player of the Season, coming in from Barcelona over in his homeland of Ecuador. I was just double checking that one because there are a few Barcelonas out there in South America. 27 appearances, 1 off the bench, 29 goals and 15 assists, 8.1 free average rating. That is a ridiculous first season. Also, Dussor and Torric did okay when coming in from the halfway point of the season, but Manilo was probably more of a first team signing. He was here for the whole year. 27 appearances, 2 off the bench, 22 goals and 3 assists. Normally, pretty good first season, but Kevin Mina just made the rest of them look a bit average. Kevin Mina definitely picks up the signing of the season. We let go of a couple of players for decent transfer fees. Some of these did come halfway through the season when our wage budget did get reduced quite a bit. David Costarella, he went to Spal. Christian Benitez to Central Coast. Nicholas Thomas to Napier City Rovers. To be fair, might have actually helped those guys do quite well in the National League. Dirty Radon went at the start of the year to Almagro, and Riley Rogers was the big sale as he went over to Adelaide United, to be fair, doing quite well with 5 goals in 15 games. That was a transfer business, to be fair, didn't hurt us too much, not losing a single game, which makes all of this a little bit boring because we absolutely wiped the floor with the other New Zealand teams, but there are the results. Nomads were the team that did get relegated from the Southern League. Also, Palmerston North Marist, they got relegated from the Central League, and it was Narua Wahia and Birkenhead relegated from the Northern League. Forgot to update that earlier, but OFC Champions League went through this fairly comfortably, albeit that first league against Auckland City was a little bit closer than you'd like. Chatham Cup, this was very comfortable. Had those 2 tough games you saw at the start of the week in the quarters and semis against Western and Auckland City, but even then won those pretty comfortably. Easy path there through the final, and we get that back after Western Suburbs beat us for it last season. And the Charity Cup, that was probably our closest game this season, 95th minute winner there from Zhao Texera to pick up a 1-0 win up in Porirua. Let's hope next season Western Suburbs actually have to come down to Christchurch. Going forward, for the moment to remember, our biggest win, 6-0 over AS Magenta in the Champions League. And the match to remember also included the goal of the season. It was a 6-1 win in the Southern League over Christchurch United, and the goal was scored, as you'd expect, with all the goals that he did get this season, by Kevin Mina. And here is the goal. It's from a free kick left foot there, and it gets past Surrey. To be fair, but a couple of goals like that this season. There was one in the All Whites from Joe Bell, but to be fair, that won't count for this. But Kevin Mina, with his 29 goals this season, I think 30 if you include the cup competitions, was always likely to pick up that goal this season, and he gets it, albeit might have scored some better ones from open play than that free kick, but he's picking up all the awards here. In terms of the revenue, somehow some of this has actually gone down, the broadcast revenue and corporate and hospitality, despite the fact we played more games than last season, because we actually won the Chatham Cup this year, but thankfully competition prize money and match day commercial and retail, they have gone up. The top shirt sellers, obviously Mina, as well as Janssen, Evans, Smith and Texera before he departs the club, and going forward to our best 11 for this season. Most of this makes sense. The goalkeeper, Josh Hawkins, after we did let go of Costa, the back 4, that was our starting 4 pretty much for the whole season. Our midfield for once actually makes sense with Evans alongside Sam Clark. We've got Louis Rodriguez out right and Kevin Mina out left, so Rodriguez gets that spot, seeing as Riley Rogers did depart about halfway through the season. Jamie Young over Lorenzo Janssen really is the only change to our usual best 11, but Lorenzo Janssen can be quite injury prone, so Jamie Young does get a fair bit of game time, and Milo up front with a decent output there of 22 goals in his first season here at Cashmere Technical. And this is where Kevin Mina absolutely destroys the club in terms of awards. Fans Player of the Season, Young Player of the Season. He's already got signing of the season and goal of the season. He picks up the top goal scorer. Most assists did go to Pedro Bissi, but to be fair, I think Mina wasn't too far behind, but Mina, 11 player of the matches, highest average rating. He had a ridiculous season, and it did include winning the National League Golden Boot and the National League Player of the Year, as well as the Chatham Cup Golden Boot. Oceania Champions League top goal scorer, that was Manny Lowe, and the National League Young Player of the Year, that did go to Jamie Young. We picked up the Manager of the Season, as you'd expect, having not lost a single game, and Kevin Mina also broke a bunch of records for the club so far in the save. Most goals overall at 29, also goals in a league season in 20, and the Man of the Match awards with 11. And going forward, the history in the making, superb season as we picked up our 5th successive title. Apparently that must be the Southern League and not the National League. And the manager timeline, we'll just see where this does start. We go there, that's from last season, picking up the Manager of the Year right at the end of that. So we'll just go forward and see what pops up now. We signed a couple of youngsters at the start of the year. That very late winner to pick up the Charity Cup, as I said, probably closest we came to losing this season here at Cashmere Technical. Brought up 400 games in charge with a win in a derby over Ferrymead Bays. Won the Champions League. You've already seen that Matty Lowe set a record in that competition. Also picked up the Southern League, the Chatham Cup, with Mina being the top goal scorer in that competition. Won the National League, and all our players won a bunch of awards, in particular Kevin Mina, and we went through the season without losing or drawing a single game. And just going down a bit further, there's some other stuff here. Kevin Mina, off the back of that one season, goes straight in at left wing to the overall best 11 here at Cashmere Technical. Also in there from our time at the club, Hawkins at goalkeeper, McGoldrick and Victor Ross. In defence, Duty Raydom is now a starter. And we've got Janssen and Walker as well as Al Ghazali alongside Mina in the attacking four. And I think that's about all that we do need to update going into the start of next season. And in fact, I tell a likers have gone for a little bit off the back of their end of season review. And last year, we did get told the board we're looking at a site to build a new stadium for the club. They must have found one because they're about to construct the Shaun Does FM Arena, named in honour of the club's greatest manager, also the All Whites' greatest manager. I'll just throw that in, guys. No need to be humble, but it is going to cost us $4.1 million. So that's a bit of a bummer because the finances had just got sorted out quite nicely. They've taken out a bank loan, but that might mean the transfer budget, that's going to be the highest one we have for a couple of seasons, unless, as I said, we do quite well at the Club World Cup. But even then, that might mean that money is going to a stadium and not to making the club professional yet again. But that will do it for the end of this 2032 season. In the end, pretty comfortable with Cashmere Technical, and also did a decent job with the All Whites staying inside that top 40 and also picking up the OFC Nations Cup. If you enjoyed this season in game, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. Tomorrow we'll come back, run through the transfers that we do. As I said, probably going to go right back at least with some of the players who are departing come the end of this season, and we'll get stuck in to the group stages of the OFC Champions League. We'll see how long that one does last. Usually can be a bit easy. Let's hope that's the case again, just in case for some reason it's next year we need to win it to go to the FIFA Club World Cup, albeit last time around it was the year before the tournament. So let's hope our ticket is already booked until tomorrow for the start of 2033, which hopefully will be a big season here at Cashmere Technical with that FIFA Club World Cup. Thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.